theater of the lie with inventory. And he showed me inventory in a way that I had absolutely never ever seen before, and I began to experience inventory, and I began to have a tremendous amount of fun with inventory, and I began to get a tremendous amount of freedom from my selfishness and self-centeredness. So I started to work with that probably in 1992, and then along the way, one time I was asked to do one of these things, and the next thing I know, I was just up doing theater of the lie. I want to tell you something about writing inventory. There's only one way you get experience with inventory. Write a lot of inventory. I don't know how many pieces of inventory I've written since 92, somewhere between 50 and 100. Now understand, I stay pretty current. I don't have these long, lengthy inventories, right? And I don't know, since 92, I have probably read somewhere between, I would say I've read inventory at least 30 to 50 times. I have probably listened to, in the past 9 years, I strongly suspect I've listened to well over 300 fifth steps. So if you want to get experience, do it, right? So when I first started writing inventory seemed somewhat difficult for me. I also turned it into a emotional exercise, which is not the instructions in this thing, right? So keep in mind that theater of lie is just it's a tool, right? It's just another method to maybe help us understand inventory. So once we get done with that third step decision, if you want to open your big book, page 64, it talks about, although this decision was a vital and crucial step, that decision will have a little permanent effect unless at once followed by a strenuous effort to face and to be rid of the things in ourselves which have been blocking us from God. See? God is right in the center of your being, your beingness, if you will. And you are blocked from God. And so be clear on why you're going to write inventory. You're not writing inventory to become a saint. You're not writing it to become a better person. You are writing it to face and be rid of that which has you blocked from the power you so desperately need based on your first step experience. That's why you're writing inventory, period. There is no other reason. Because you need power. You realize you need power. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to write some inventory to face and be rid of that which has me blocked from God. And then, of course, on page 64, the wisdom of the big book. By this time, with the doctor's opinion, we've read 74 pages worth of information, and now they tell me that liquor is but a symptom. It's not my problem. Now that creates a lot of confusion. See, I'm going to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I came to you because I thought I had a problem with alcohol. See? And I'm around, and I'm doing this stuff, and I get to this page, and they go, oh, and by the way, alcohol is not your problem. It's a symptom. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I know when I go to a doctor, he asks me questions, I present symptoms, but that isn't what he treats. He treats the problem, see? But the wisdom of the book was such that they're going to get me locked into this 74 pages before they tell me what my problem is, and it's not whiskey, see? They've told me earlier, it's your selfishness and self-centeredness. See, if you're sitting in this room, you think your problem is alcohol, you won't get any better. Because the solution, if your problem is alcohol, is just don't drink. I don't know about you, but when I just don't drink, I get worse, not better. Because now my selfishness runs unabated, and the places it puts me in that create so much pain, I don't have any anesthesia for it. You follow? So now we're going to get down to causes, my second column in conditions. And if you look up those words, when it says a condition, it refers to a state of being. And what I'm going to show you in Theater of the Lie and a little bit later, the big book uses the idea that you and I have stage characters. And remember a little bit earlier, we alluded to the businessman. He's down in the Florida sun, and then he's complaining, right? See? And I'm going to show you these stage characters, if you will. And it goes on to say, well, we're going to do this step 4. We're going to try and discover the truth, disclose damaged or unsaleable goods, get rid of them promptly. So it begins to say that I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to search out the flaws in my makeup which caused my failure. Do you notice how the big book at this time is turning the spotlight directly on us? See, I'm going to look at the flaws in my makeup which caused my failure earlier. All my troubles are my own making. See, every drunk, including myself, I haven't really cared for these words because that means I got to take complete responsibility for my life, doesn't it? You understand what I just said? Who in this room wants to take complete responsibility for their life? See, not most of us. Not most of us. And it talks about, well, I'm going to search out the flaws in my makeup which cause my failure. Theater of the lie is I want to show you your makeup, if you will, which caused your failure. And then they talk about self and how self manifests. The three inventories are just going to show you how self manifests. Now I want to go back to the definition I gave you that I'll use from, say, Eckhart Tolle in terms of ego. The definition of ego: mind-made false sense of self. Mind-made false sense of self. Meaning, my sense of who I am is created by my mind. And when that happens, my sense of self is always derived externally based on the stage characters my mind has manufactured and that I believe that I am. I'll give you an example. I'll use myself first. I'm a man. That's one. I'm an alcoholic and a cocaine addict. That's two. I'm a sober member of AA. I'm a jock. See, there's a part of me that's Rambo. You know, you haven't seen it this weekend, but it's lurking. You come at me the wrong way and I'm asleep, you'll get a chance to meet Rambo. There is the spiritual mystic to be. He's evolving. I'm a writer, so there's that part in me, right? I have a lady in my life, so I've got that state of being. And then I am my money. That's about 10 of them. And I'll just take one of them for example. Being a sober member of AA. What do I need to be to exist to be a sober member of AA? Well, I need to not drink, right? How many of you are married? Raise your hands. Or in a relationship, okay? If you're a husband and or a wife, what is for example, does a wife need to be to exist? Needs a husband. So what I want to show you and what inventory is all about, let's say that you're a wife, and let's say that the husband comes home one day and says, I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. Now, you don't just take that as, if you were in fit spiritual condition, here would be your response. God bless you, go in peace. However, that is not what we do. And you know why? Because when I hear that, what I experience that as is I am fighting for my life. I have a sense of self called, say, a husband, or if you're a woman, a wife, and if the husband says to the wife that I want to get out of this marriage, and you're identified and you really think there's such a thing as a wife, that man just said that you don't exist and you are fighting for your life. That is how you experience it. In your emotions, in your heart, in your mind, and in your body. You are fighting for your life. And this is the tragedy of the ego. This is why so few of us ever get sober, stay sober, and die sober. Because we have what's called a mind-made sense of self, and we think who we are is based on everything that is external. You understand? For years, my life was built on external. I had the same job my first 8.5, 9 years in recovery. I quit that job, and a year and a half later, I almost committed suicide. Let me tell you one of the major reasons why. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week. About 90% of my entire identity was tied into that job, and I did not know that. But about a year and a half later, when I want to commit suicide, I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why. Well, I know why today. You watch relationships end, or you watch people lose jobs, and you watch them go into deep depressions. Some of them commit suicide. They do the most insane thing. See, I thought I was my job. In other words, I had a sense of self that said, this is what I do. You follow? This is very real stuff. So, when we're going to write inventory, what you're going to do is make a list of resentments, right? You're going to list people, and you're going to list institutions and principles. That's column 1. And then column 2, you're going to put, why are you angry at these people? And then in the third column, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about the 7 areas of self that are hurt, threatened, or interfered with. But I think the easiest way is I want to get a volunteer. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter who volunteers. I could pick any one of you and we get the same results. But so if anybody would like to volunteer, let me ask this. Does anybody have a resentment recently about a relationship maybe that ended? Those are always so much fun. Come on up. It's Kathy, right? Come on up. Okay, go ahead and sit down in the chair. All right. Now, here's what we're going to do. We need to develop her cast of characters, right? So one of them is you were the girlfriend, or were you married, or what? You were. Yeah, I got to hold the mic.
The wife.
Okay. So I need come on up here. You're going to be the wife. I'm just going to have you guys surround her, and I want to show you something. Now, and so you come over here. You be the wife, and I'm going to throw things at you, and your only response is that you're the wife. That is your role, right? Nothing else exists. You're the wife. What does a wife need to be? Well, I need a husband, right? I need to be married. You follow me? Okay. Your existence is predicated. In other words, here's what happens when you attach to these states and you think it's who you are. You just create a third column in which you write out what a wife needs to be to exist, and anything that hurts, threatens, or interferes with that, you experience it as fighting for your life. So we've got the wife. Now you've been, were you sober when the wife had this problem, right? Were you in AA?
Problem.
Or were you drinking?
Well, when we
Well, your
split-
marriage ended. Yeah, were you in sobriety then?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need, you come on up and you be Miss AA. Right, yeah. I want to show you what this woman was up against in this deal. So we got Miss AA. Now, every woman has a Xena in her. Right? You come up and be Xena? Yeah. Trust me, it'll be easy for you guys to play these roles. So you're Xena now. Are your parents still alive?
My mother is.
Your mother's still alive. So I need a daughter. You come on up and be a daughter. Let's see. Do you have any children?
No.
Okay, no children. All right. Do you work?
Yes.
Okay. So I need a female worker. Amy, come on up. Okay. That's a good enough start just to work with this piece of inventory. Now go back to what I said. The definition of ego, a mind-made false sense of self. Okay? She has created, her mind has created this cast of characters, and she believes this is who she is. She believes, and every one of these cast of characters exists only into something outside themselves, right? So for purposes of what we're going to do here, I'm going to have her give me some information in the second column about this husband. And then I'm going to get responses from these 5 people, and I'm going to show you why we drink. And I'm going to show you the conflict that we're in all of the time, from the time we get up till the time we go to bed. Okay? So you got to remember your roles then, right? So you're the daughter. Yeah. So your any responses to anything are going to come as though you're talking to your mother. You're the daughter. Of course, you're the wifey poo, right? Okay? And you're Miss AA, the spiritual woman, who very calmly would say, honey, I love you unconditionally. Like David's been talking about, go in peace, right? And then we have Xena, who has a little bit different feeling than the spiritual woman. She would like to take that sword in a Bobic deal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay? And then we have the career woman. Okay. Now I want you to give me the second column. In other words, you got column 1, right, is Mr. So give me column 2. Tell me why you resent Mr.
So many reasons.
Of course. How long were you married?
4 years.
Okay, 4 years. I'm going to paint another picture so you understand this. This is powerful stuff. This is real. Inventory is fun. But you come into AA, and if you drank like I did, here's the great thing. You drank all these people up. You know what the pink cloud is? The pink cloud is that you have drank all up those false states of being, that mind-made sense of self. You finally are experiencing for a brief period of time who you are, a spiritual being walking around in a spacesuit called Mark, but you're not Mark. You have a true sense of self that comes from within. Slowly in recovery, as God brings things into your life, these people start showing up, including the little wifey poo. And then she begins to think that that's who I am, and that defines who I am. So give me some second columns on why you resent him.
I resent that he left when I was trying to get better.
Okay? I'm going to stop there. So here's the deal. She's trying to get better. He comes home and he says to her, I'm leaving. Okay? I want you to check out the responses of these different states. What was your response when he said, I'm leaving?
Oh, shoot. Don't go.
Okay. She's the wife. He says to her, I'm leaving. What is he really saying to her? He's not saying he's leaving. He's saying she doesn't exist. She's going to say a little bit more than don't go. You follow me? What are you going to say? What are you going to say to her?
Go to hell.
That's Zena.
Actually, that's Zena. Yeah, see? She wants to be Zena. Here's what I want you to... Here's the feedback for you to give me. You're the wife. What do you need to be to exist? You need a husband. And he just said to you he wants to leave. How are you going to react to that? In addition to don't go, what else? Please stay. I love you. I need you.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
You follow? You see that response to that? Bingo. He said when he said I want to leave, she experienced that as he said to this, in which she now has an identity. You don't exist. She is fighting for her life. We drink over this. She's fighting for her life. You follow? Now we'll give it to Zena. How'd you feel about what he said? He said, I'm leaving. What's your response?
Go ahead, leave.
Yeah. And there may have been a few other things thrown along with that. Zena's the one who says things like, I didn't really like you anyhow. And if you were a real man, you follow me, Zena. Some of you women that have made amends for things you've said, that was Zena. You know, I'm going to emasculate this man. I'm going to do this. That's Zena, right? Okay. Now, you've got to call and tell your family, don't you? You're the daughter, right? What's the daughter need to be to exist? The mother needs to think that she's doing well with her life and that she's going to be happily married. And so you're probably going to call your mother and be what?
Little what? Oh yeah, I can't believe he left me. How could he do that to me? I did everything for him. I did the best I could.
Now let's go to the wife. Now I want to go to the wife. See, good. You see, we're getting the roll. And here's what happens. She's going through all this shit in about 10 minutes, see? Now I want to get the wife, and the wife is going to call her friends in AA.
I can't believe he left.
The victim wife.
Oh, yeah. I'm nobody without him. How am I going to pay bills, stay out?
Now watch this conflict. Occasionally, the spiritual woman is going to jump into the picture here. So how would the spiritual woman handle if a man wanted to leave?
It's going to be okay. There'll be somebody else that'll come along eventually.
And God bless you. Go in peace. And I trust God, and I rely on God, and and don't drink and go to meetings. See, right? One more minute. Okay. All right. Now we've also got the person working, right? So I imagine your income got impacted by this, right? When he left,
It's better.
it's better. She's probably going to say, "I'm glad that SOB's gone. For God's sakes, he never could manage money anyhow, right?"
Make money.
What do we got? We on. The inventory is not about. Okay, we're going to just stop for about 1 minute, and I want to come back to this. He's going to switch. Okay, every drunk I have ever met, regardless of gender. Oh, I forgot to. I'll have you do a dual role. She was doing pretty good with this. Both the daughter and the victim. See, what does a victim need to be to exist? Needs to be victimized. And let me tell you my experience with that stage character. If you don't get rid of that stage character, you're going to continue to go through life making sure that stage character stays in place. And that stage character has a huge payoff. See? So let's hear what the victim said when he left.
I'm alone. How could you do that? I'm nothing. I'm hollow. I'm just dead. I might as well sit in my bed and never leave the house again.
See? You follow me? See how, yeah, I did so much. Give me a couple other things in the second column.
The same person?
Yeah. We got some inventory here. See, here's the deal. I could take any one of you that's ever had a relationship, I could take any woman and any man, have you sitting in this chair, we'd be doing the same stuff, right? The names and faces. And what I'm trying to make you see of the tragedy of the ego. You see, this is not about love. That pain that she's feeling and she's crying right now, that's not about love. That's about an addictive, needy, clinging ego that gets its definition of who I am from this, quote, relationship. That's not about love. You see the difference? Right? Give me some more second column. Talking to the mic.
Yeah, I resent that he talked down to me and didn't appreciate my mind and my ideas.
Okay? Did you hear that? So he's talking down to her and he doesn't appreciate her ideas, right? So, victim, tell me, how do you feel about that?
I listen to him all the time. He never, ever, ever listened to me.
Good.
I tried.
Okay. What's the wife's reaction to this?
I'm separate from you if you think different.
Okay, good. How about the spiritual woman?
How spiritual am I?
Here's what she would say if she's real spiritual. Well, he's just spiritually sick, and I understand. And what would Zena be saying about now?
You think you're so perfect? Look at yourself. Look in the mirror.
Right.
You gained 20 pounds since we've been married. That's right. I was drunk when I married you, and now I'm sober. I don't know why I married you in the first place.
Yeah. Go girl, right? See, and this is why we shoot ourselves in the head, not the foot. This is going on all day long behind I'm going to leave you. All day long, she's shifting in one state or another all day long, day in and day out. I mean, can you imagine? The spiritual woman gets up in the morning, and she wants to do prayer and meditation because that's what she does. And the victim jumps in and says, no. So then she calls her mother, and the daughter steps in, right? And then the wife's going to meetings and talking about he's leaving and he's doing this. And then every now and then Zena rears up and says, he's going to regret that. I mean, somewhere in Zena says things like, he's tasted the waters of the Nile. Nothing else will ever quench that SOB's thirst, You see? And then pretty soon the businesswoman is saying, this is great. That guy was a horrible money manager anyhow. You follow? And she goes in and out of this all day long. All day long. In and out and in and out. And every single one of these will literally bring about another emotional response in her. You're up and down. I cannot control my emotional nature. Gee, I wonder why. See? And here's what's cute. Let's go back to when they got married. Can you imagine what it looked like the first night they went to bed? There were 50 different characters in that bed. What are the odds? See, here's another piece. I could have brought up a sex goddess, right? And then the man, you got Romeo. I can assure you, the wife's agenda and the sex goddess's agenda are completely different. You follow me? See, the wife has never, ever committed adultery on her husband, but the sex goddess wouldn't a minute because they got different agendas. You understand what I'm saying? And when this husband comes home and says, I'm leaving, he basically is saying to every one of these, you no longer exist. If your sense of self is derived externally. You follow? This is the purpose of inventory, to identify this. Her third column is going to come from all these different characters. You follow? Give me couple more in the second column. How long ago did this happen?
What's today's date?
Today's the
28 days ago.
28 days ago. Okay. See, and the pain is real. Pain is real. I've almost died behind this stuff. I mean that. Couldn't sleep, maybe you can relate to this. It's one of the best diets I've ever experienced.
Yeah, my pants fit great.
You know, here, people are telling you looking great, you want to die inside, right? You know. See, and of course, if you're a macho man like me and Dave, it's cool for her to sit up here and cry, but I'm going to meetings trying to be this Rambo. You know, it's not good. It's not good, you see. I'm conflicted. I got conflict going on, you know. See? Give me some more second column.
Well, a biggie is I'm really angry that he didn't try to work on it, try to work it out.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I did. I wanted to.
Right.
He didn't want to even try.
Okay. So again, you see what we're putting down in the second column. He didn't want to work on it. He didn't want to try. Right? So you develop the third column, self-esteem. I'll take the last piece. I'm going to show you how I write inventory. I wanted to work on it, and he wouldn't try. Now, I'll tell you a little trap in inventory about third column, because she obviously is going through some pain behind this and emotion and crying. And I've fallen into this. When I'm in that state, I write my third column from a position of low self-esteem and victim. I felt bad because he didn't want to work on it. But I want to tell you something about resentments. I have a resentment because I'm playing God. And in my act of playing God, it didn't go the way I want. And God doesn't have any low self-esteem. So what's really going on in her self-esteem? Here's what's going on. I like to use the words I am. I am the wife. I'm willing to work on this. She's going to sit in judgment on him in the second column. Remember, he didn't want to work on it. She did. See? I'm willing to stay in the marriage and work on it. Boom. You follow me? That's who the self-esteem is. Two sides to it. That's one. There's probably another one. Is I've made so many mistakes that I don't deserve to be in this marriage anymore. Probably both sides. Did you have both experiences?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Pride. Pride is how others see me. No one should see a man leave me. I leave men. No one should see a man leave me. You follow me? Ambition. Tell me what you want. And I want you to touch it. I want you to touch all of it. I mean, tell us what you want.
I mean, in one word, what I want is joy.
Okay?
How I get it, that's another story.
What do you want from him?
From him, unconditional love.
Okay? Unconditional love. Did you hear that? She wants unconditional love. Ambition. What do I want? I want unconditional love. Security. What do you need to be okay?
To be okay, really, I need to unconditionally love myself, because that's always killing me.
I understand that's a moral and philosophical conviction, but that ain't what you're feeling right now. I want you to touch why you're sitting here crying in so much pain. What has your mind been telling you need to be okay? You need him. You need him.
I need someone like him.
I'm going to carry it a step further. I need where pain is coming from. You see, all my troubles are my own making. She has a belief system that she needs a man to be okay. So here's what it means. If she doesn't have a man in her life who's loving her unconditionally, she is never okay. That's how she goes through her life. Purpose of inventory is look at these insane belief systems that you were up against. Security. What did I need to be okay? I needed a man to be okay. You understand? See how that lays out? You see what she's up against? You see why we drink over this? Steps 4 through 8 are designed to challenge all of these insane belief systems you have, and if you're not writing inventory like this, you can't see what those are. You follow? Sex relations, deep-seated beliefs about men and women. What are some of your deep-seated beliefs? Well, wait a minute. Let's ask her committee their deep-seated beliefs. What are some of your beliefs about men?
Victim? Am I victim now? They take advantage of me all the time. They take, I give. They never, ever stay.
Ladies, can't you feel that? Huh? Can't you feel that? Okay. Now, you're the wife. What are your deep-seated beliefs about men?
To be in a loving relationship, always be there for me.
How about the spiritual women?
I'm going to learn how to take care of myself so that I don't need a man in my life, that when it happens, it's because I want it to happen.
How's Zena feel about men?
Oh, yeah? I can do a lot better than you because you were sucked in bed.
Yeah! See? And I suspect the money person feels the same way. Do you see what she's up against with this one piece of inventory? Minute by minute, day by day. Let me tell you something. She shifts in and out of these stage characters. They don't know each other exists. Can you imagine? Have you ever had this happen? It's 5 a.m. in the morning, and they wake you up. And they call a meeting. And they start talking. I had a lady say to me, meditation is just so hard, my mind. And and they don't have a group leader when they start talking. They just, we want to talk to you, and it goes on, and you shift in all day long. See, all day long, she gets up in the morning, she shifts in and out of these different characters and states of being all day long, and she has different one minute she wants to kill him, get an Uzi, blow him away. The next minute, the spiritual woman says, God bless you, go in peace. The next, the victim. I mean, it's just endless, right? Zena's in the middle of it all, saying, oh, screw it, there's 2 billion men out there, who cares about him, And she wonders why she's going crazy and feeling all this pain and feeling all this confusion, feeling restless, irritable, discontent, having trouble in personal relationships. See? You see why in AA they say in your first year to stay out of relationships? Look what you're bringing in. Now couple this with a lot of unfinished amends. You see? And again, imagine boy meets girl in AA, and just take that area of your life. So you got, what are the odds of the sex goddess and lover boy meeting at the same time in the bedroom? Non-existent. Non-existent, right? Lover boy is out, well, let's say one night, let's say Miss AA, she's out working with another woman, doing spiritual work for God. See? Let's say that her husband's at home, and the lover boy is anxious. See? So she walks in the door, and she's just this little ray of light. And he's a ray of sexual energy. We're going to have a problem. You follow me? We're going to have a problem. What is the purpose of inventory? To be entirely rid of self, all these false states of being. To go through life taking your being into your doing, but you're not your doing. You're not attached to this. You understand? I'm in the world to play the role that God has assigned, but I am not the role. You see the difference? You move, you flow. See? Anybody have any questions on this? You get a chance. You see what you're up against off one little piece of inventory here. See? This is very, very real. Now, here's how I write inventory that makes it easy. The first thing I like to do when I get to my third column is I like to ask myself this question. What stage characters are fighting for their life in this resentment? Well, the little wifey poo. The sex goddess. Probably income. The daughter, because mom ain't going to be happy with this news, right? And after all, what's a daughter need to be? I have to please my mother. I have to be the perfect daughter, marry for, however it lays out. And then I begin to write my third column. My third column is where I'm playing God. See? You understand? You see how this lays out? You see what this poor girl has been up against? You see what this caused? You see why we drink? You see the tragedy of the ego behind this? Give him a hand. Thanks.